Hey guys, here we are back at the Beast Zone. Got another great drummer here, local guy, and we're going to pick his brain and we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. I really hope you enjoy it. And if you like this channel, please subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and then you can get the latest when I post these interviews. There's so many drummers in town. I've kind of figured that out. And I want to get to most of them or all of them if I can. So I was doing it once a month, so I'm thinking about maybe doing it once every 2 weeks, interviewing a drummer. So let me know your thoughts on that, and then we can kind of just see if that'll work, so I can get through more of them instead of taking 2 or 3 years to get through them, because I think there's that many awesome drummers in town that need to be interviewed and kind of get their perspective on things. Of course, today or this evening we have one of the best, Damon Harris.
Hey
man, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well.
All right, this guy right here, man, he's if you don't know him, you should, and you will after this interview.
Hey.
So anyway, Damon.
Yes, sir.
So how did all this happen? I mean, how did we get to where we're at? In the beginning, when you started out, just kind of walk us through what happened and how did we get here?
How did we get here? Well, I was kind of lucky, actually. My dad, he was an artist, musician, all-around musician, avid songwriter. Did his own bedroom studio recordings from the 80s, 90s. I was born in the 90s, so he'd been doing it well over a decade by the time I was around. And so my mom, she was a bluegrass picker on the guitar. She did little competitions, and she's got her ribbons and all that. So I was born into it. I was born in a musical household.
Your family was a musical. Okay.
Yes.
Good.
And my mom and my dad got me a drum set when I was 2 years old, 1992.
2 years old?
Christmas '92.
Really?
And it's just the rest is history. It just snowballed from there.
Really?
I didn't even know it. I don't even remember picking up sticks. I remember punching holes through my first set of heads with the sticks. Not knowing what I was doing. I vividly remember that. But I grew, and
that's awesome.
how it started for me.
Really?
Yes, sir.
So you started out, but I mean, when did you realize? I mean, how old was you when you realized?
Oh, shoot.
I want to like maybe form an actual band or something, or play with other musicians.
Well, I was also, my dad and I, we jammed.
Okay.
All the time. So he was playing his guitar, singing, and I learned the whole coming down and crashing whenever.
Finding the one or something, right?
And following the body movements of another musician.
Absolutely.
And just playing his songs and Beatles songs. It was either his songs and Beatles.
So he wrote original music?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. He was an original writer. He was original writer. He would play the guitar, bass, did the drums.
Wow.
He would have friends that had musical talents as well, but they were far and few in between. But back then, you didn't have Facebook to keep up with each other back then. So if he found a friend, they would get together and he'd have them do their part. He loved it, and he loved including everybody that just wanted it. Even folks that with a poem, he would write music to their poem.
That's pretty awesome.
For them, give them the tape and say, "Hey, this is your song. This is your song."
That is awesome. So as you're going along, I mean, you're okay. So what style of music do you think you developed out of that, where it led you to like a certain type of genre or different genres?
Yeah.
Or I mean, which direction did you go with your music that you would listen to?
Yeah, man, I find myself to be a musical drummer, an artist in a way. I started with the rock bass.
Right.
I listened to a lot of the Beatles.
Okay. That's
Love
a great
the
start.
Beatles.
That's a great start.
And
absolutely.
I remember vividly Strawberry Fields. Listening to that and then hearing the odd time drum fills.
Really?
It was that caught my attention.
Yeah. So you were paying attention.
I was paying attention. I thought I would be.
That's cool.
It was things like that.
I mean, what age are we talking here? I mean, your teens, pre-teens, or
before 10.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking between 5 and 10 years old.
Really? And you were already like scoping that out.
I was scoping that out.
That's very
6, 7, 8. I definitely remember playing beats, playing the drums with my dad, and playing all those tunes, Beatle tunes, and his rock tunes. And then probably 10, 11, I started getting into Led Zeppelin.
Yeah,
I was given Led Zeppelin. Actually, I pretty much took my dad's Led Zeppelin CD.
Right.
And then hearing Bonham's Triplets for the first time, I remember that opening up so many doors for me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I moved through the classic rock phase and all that for sure.
So
that was my start, my basis.
Right. So let's move to, like, say, in your teenage years. Are you going to school? Was you like in a marching band or anything like that?
I was. I was in marching band. I played the quints, the tenors.
The
tenors.
Yes.
So that put me on timpanis during concert season and things like that. In 8th grade, I was actually pulled up from middle school band to high school band for concert season.
Okay.
To play.
Yeah.
And that's where I started. And I met a man named Kristen, or a kid at the time named Kristen Mask.
Yes. Yeah. I know Kristen. Yes.
We went to school together.
Okay.
And then his friend Matthew Matlock.
Yes.
We developed a little trio, a little power trio, and we got into Led Zeppelin. We love Led Zeppelin.
Of course.
Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
It developed into Iron Maiden, and then we got into Megadeth.
Oh wow. Okay.
And by the time we graduated, we moved up here. We were basically a Megadeth cover band.
Okay, when you said moved up here, where were we talking?
Yes, we were from, we graduated in Jacksboro.
Okay, Jacksboro, okay.
I'm originally from Grapevine, Colleyville.
Okay.
That's where I grew up. Graduated in Jacksboro. We came up to Midwestern State University. This is the college.
Okay.
Midwestern or Weatherford is kind of where they pushed us.
Yes, right.
So we ended up here in Wichita Falls playing music.
Gotcha. So when you got here, so you were living here, all of y'all, or just you?
I moved up here when I was 18.
Okay.
For college. And moved in with Kristen. He was my roommate there for a couple of years.
So did you continue that music vibe here, or did you?
We did, as long as we did. We continued our little rock and roll band until Kristen got accepted to Berklee School of Music up in Boston.
That's right, I remember that.
And then we had to say bye.
I gotcha. I remember that. Yes.
And that was my first step from the rock and roll and the metal into Texas country music.
Okay. Yeah. Texas country music.
And me and the bass player, we were a solid duo. And my neighbor at the time, his name was T.C. Fambro, Kyle Fambro.
Right. He
had his band called T.C. Fambro and the Copperheads, and we joined him. And it was Jimmy Devine on lead guitar.
Right.
T.C. was the main guy, and me and Matt was the rhythm section.
I think I do remember that. And y'all played around here, right?
We did the whole tour. We got into his Tahoe, pulling the trailer, and sleeping in Walmart parking lots.
Oh man, the fun stuff. Yeah,
talking to people, just finding a couch to sleep on. Man, it was quite an experience. But that's how it started.
That's good. That's good. And then from there, where did that lead you to?
That led me getting kicked out of my first band. Then I worked with a couple of locals, Lena Kay Crumpler. Worked with her a little bit. And then a guy that I knew through TC introduced me to Joe Cortez.
Okay.
Another drummer you're going to have to talk to.
I did. Yes, I know. I got him on Facebook.
And I met him. And he changed my whole perspective on drums.
Really?
Yes. Oh, yes.
He's a little more articulate, I think. He's like,
very hip hop.
Yeah,
he's got a lot of hip hop.
I see a lot of his stuff.
He's got a great intricate style. And
yes, he does.
He's very musical and thought out with his playing.
Yes.
He's not just banging on the drums.
Right,
you know?
Exactly. I got you. There's more thought into the beats. Yes.
Yeah, and then when he gets in the zone,
yeah,
I wouldn't say there's any thought. He's in the zone.
He's in the zone.
He's doing his thing.
That's cool. There ain't nothing wrong with that. That's what I'm saying. Some drummers, they can do that kind of stuff, and it's like it's in their soul. They start playing, and it just pours out.
Oh, man.
Their stuff, and you're like, man, that is really. I mean, and that can just be them playing by themselves, not necessarily with other band members. I mean, even just the drummer just playing that kind of stuff like that. I mean, you're like, man, that's nice. That's really cool.
Right.
But,
so yeah, I met him, and he was on his last 2 or 3 shows with a local named Johnny Cooper.
yes.
And so I went and saw his gigs with Johnny, and got to meet Johnny, and that opened up meeting Cody Shaw,
Yeah, right.
and his dad Ben Shaw,
Yeah,
pretty much the whole Johnny Cooper band.
Yes.
And after meeting those guys, I got in with Cody. and started playing Cody Shaw and the Rhythm Boys, and
Yeah.
I continue to do that to this day as well.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, that's awesome.
It's kind of far and few between.
Yeah, but yeah,
but
okay.
we between him and his dad and I, we have a trio,
Right.
and we just gel.
Sure,
we just love to get together and gel.
There ain't nothing wrong with that. Yeah, absolutely. So, like, so as you're going through these periods of change and stuff, what do you? I mean, what drums are you? I mean, did you have one drum set and you stuck with it for a long time?
I'm glad you
or
mentioned
did you,
the drums.
I mean, how did you progress?
Lots of
into drums?
graduation. Lots of graduation. I have my first kit when I was 2.
Oh wow!
Bass drums.
Really?
A little guy.
Oh yeah, I could imagine.
And I'm about to have a son. I'm excited, and I'm
great.
going to give him that little guy.
Yes, that's going to be
I
really
cannot
cool. The
wait.
same drum set that you started out
30 years
man.
later, it's
Yeah,
really neat.
that's very
So-
cool, man.
So I have that, and then I remember around 10 or 12 years old, I was starting to outgrow it. I was
Right.
getting tall.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm on eBay. I mean, it was early 2000s.
Yes.
So I'm online. I'm like, Dad, I found this drum set. I want it so bad. It's only da 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 da.
Yeah,
It's
right.
only da 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 da. And he's like, son, be patient. Be patient. And then one day he told me if I could get $100, and he would help me out with the drum set. I mowed yards.
Yeah.
I made bells and things for a guy that does Renaissance festivals.
Yeah, right.
I mean, washed
Anything
dishes.
to make money. Anything to make some money. Yeah.
I made my $100.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I met it halfway, and I got my first black CB drum set,
Right. Yeah.
and that was my first big kit.
Okay.
And then I graduated from that a few years later with Bill introducing me to D drums.
Yes.
Because I knew he
Yes.
started promoting
Yes.
D drums.
Right. Yeah.
And so I've got this white bubble wrap 7-piece kit.
Right. Okay.
It's pretty nice. It's
Yeah.
made out of alder wood. It was the first kit made out of alder.
Right. Yes,
And
I remember that.
I guess it's like a guitar tonal wood.
Yeah.
And then after I met Joe Cortez, he's got this kit called the Hip Gig.
Big gig.
A Rick Murata Hip Gig. It's by Yamaha.
Really? Okay.
And it's a 18-inch long, 20-inch
Right.
long
Yeah,
drum,
bass drum.
and the front clips off, and the
Oh wow.
toms go in it, the snare
Oh,
go in it,
okay,
clips
like
together.
a compact. Yeah.
Very
Gotcha.
compact.
Yeah. Okay.
But it sets up like your
Yes.
regular standard.
Yeah, right.
4 piece.
Yeah.
I was like, I went straight to eBay again. You know? I'm on eBay
Let
looking
me
for
find
this
that.
thing.
Let me find
eBay's
this
been, it's been there forever. It's been like, he's saving all these.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Anyway, so I found a couple, and the Rick Murata and the Al Foster, they're 2 different sizes,
Yeah.
same design,
Right.
and I got them both.
Oh wow.
Kind of an accident, but I got them
Yeah.
both. Long story short.
Right. Okay.
And I use those as my gigging kits.
Okay.
Mostly.
Yeah. Right.
And then I bought a kit off of Joe. It's
Okay.
a Yamaha Nauvoo birch
Okay.
kit,
Birch is good. Yeah,
and
very
it's
good.
beautiful,
man.
black lacquer.
Yeah.
And so I kind of got into the Yamaha on accident, but
But you liked it.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I like the
Okay.
sound.
Right. The sound. Birch is
My dad was a Ludwig man.
Right,
He always
yeah.
loved Ludwigs.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's just,
you know,
everybody had their.
Yeah. Everybody had their.
He's
niche.
kind of old school.
Yeah, like me. I understand. I have
Pearl and
some old
Ludwig.
Tamas.
Yeah.
I used to play Pearl. But you know, back in the day, we didn't have a lot of. I mean, right now you got some mass variety of stuff. I mean, cymbals and drums and this and that. You're like, oh wow.
People in their own shops. Just
Yeah,
building,
yeah, exactly.
building
In their own shop, building their own shit.
competitive,
Yes, exactly.
quality
So,
drums.
what cymbals? I mean, because cymbals is a very vital part of
Yeah,
drums. I mean,
yeah.
are you start out with like the cheap stuff, like
I did. I
everybody? And
had
you
the
just kinda
CD,
go,
giving up
Yeah.
drum set, and
Yeah.
I got a little video on my YouTube of me folding up 3 different size cheap cymbal sets and making a little stack.
Yes,
clap.
that's the stack.
And,
Yes,
and
yes,
it sounds
absolutely.
it sounds just like
Yeah,
the
exactly.
expensive ones. So just get some cheap,
Yeah, and just
cymbal folks and
stack 'em
and
together,
bend
just
them.
whack 'em. Yeah.
If it sounds good, It's good.
So what are you using like now? So what did you?
Zildjians. I got into Zildjians. My dad got me my first Peisty. However you want to pronounce it. Peisty.
Yeah.
Little 502s and those hats and a 14-inch crash. Those are my first good cymbals.
Yeah,
I still have those. Then I got into Zildjians. I bought Zildjian Ks. Those are my first nice cymbals. I got some old A customs. I bought, so that's about all I have. I have on
well, that's
right
cool.
Zildjians, Ks and As.
Yeah, well, ain't nothing wrong with this. Let me ask you this. Did you ever get into electronic drum kits?
Yes. I never opposed to them at all because I grew up playing the keys as well.
Yeah.
And I always loved going to the...
So
I would play with my...
exactly.
So I was never opposed to drum machines at all. I have a pad that I use for extra sounds and stuff. I know that if I find myself behind an electric drum set, I'm there for a good hour or 2 hours going through every single sound there is.
Yes, and I do that every time I go to Guitar Center. I'll look around and I'm like, which of these electronic sets are open? And I go and sit down and it's the first thing I do, like boom, boom, like okay, get the little headphones or just turn up the little amp. And I mean, like you said, you can literally just sit there for hours. I mean, because everything you play is just like it's there in your face. There's no worrying about tones and this or that. I mean, it's just there.
And I love it because when I'm behind something, because I play the guitar, I play the bass, and so when I'm behind something different, it pulls out something different.
Sure.
Different sounds do the same thing.
Yeah.
And, it's it's limit. I mean, it's endless. I guess
it is endless. It is endless.
So I never feel like I know everything.
Yeah. Well, there's just so much stuff out there. Like I said, that's why I appreciate different drummers because I mean, some of them, like I said, they're very good at what they do. But everybody's got their spot where they're doing it. This guy's a rock drummer. This guy's a Latin drummer. This guy's a lot, and they're good at what they do. But it's just what the music they're playing. I mean, it's just like they're there. So it's just very cool to see different drummers and respect their playing abilities because, like I said, you can never know everything. I mean, you can try to dabble in the different types of styles and stuff, but as far as like being the all-around drummer, knowing every single thing, I just don't think you could unless you really just devoted your whole life to doing all that.
But everybody has a foundation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mine's the rock, it's just a good solid beat.
Tell me about is there any special way that you tune your drums? I haven't covered this subject, but I know tuning is very important in drums, and I just like from your point of view, how much time do you take to tune your drums?
Good question. I've done it all with the tuning. I've tried to bring them up, all nice and flat and everything.
Yeah,
right. My drums are usually tuned lower.
Right.
For just mic purposes or recording purposes, because growing up with my dad, a lot of his recording was through a sheet.
Yeah,
just right over the drums.
Yes,
killing everything.
Sure, yeah,
but,
like a thud.
Yeah, it was a thud. But so I never grew up thinking that I had to stick with some sort of tone or it was just what called for, just what I was feeling. I usually like to keep my bass pretty loose. I put my fist in the middle and I just tune them just enough to hold the rim on, basically.
To hold the rim on,
and then on my toms, I put my fist on it just to get the outside wrinkles out, and then kind of match. I usually have like a matching top and bottom.
So you're not like some guys that sit there like, okay, this drum is a C sharp, and this drum is because I've seen where guys like, oh well, this drum has to be this,
maybe in recording,
yeah, I can see where that would come in. I mean, if you're doing some runs and fills and stuff, and you need to hear them distinct, like hear those distinct progressions of notes.
I definitely have the the intervals, I guess, from one drum to the other.
Right. Yeah.
You're not gonna have two drums sounding the same.
No, because of diameter and size.
So
and everything.
I tune it with my ear usually.
Okay. Because I mean, some guys tune their drums high on the higher pitch, and then some, like you said, or lower pitch. So when they're playing, you can definitely hear how that guy tunes his drums, and like I
Yeah.
said, when you mic them, the audience is really hearing the bottom part of your drums coming out. To be honest, when you're playing it, but you got the mics on top. Of course, most of the time you're going to have it gated, or you're going to have some reverb on it, or this. You're going to have some stuff on
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
But the true drum sound, is when you're just really beating them, and you can just hear that tone come out of each one. That's always been a real interesting to go to concerts or shows, and you're listening, and you're like, man, the drums sound killer.
Now, like some of my snares, I'll have one tuned down a lot fatter.
Yeah,
one
exactly.
Cranked up,
Yeah.
just for different sounds.
I've experienced experimented with that. Like, do I want a tight sound, or do I want that 70s or 80s fat, fat sound? So it kind of, just kind of depends on what you're doing. To be honest, I'm not a big fan of like piccolos. I don't know if you are.
Oh, actually, that was like my first nice snare was a Pearl piccolo.
Yeah.
And it has a brass that comes out.
Right. I tried that. I mean, it just didn't fit in my format. I guess it's just one of those deals. It's like a tool. Does it fit for what the job you're doing? And I couldn't find nowhere to fit it in. Even in recording and stuff. I'm like, but speaking of recording, have you done any recording with anybody or on your own or anything like that?
Oh yeah. Yes.
Tell us about that.
Recently I've done my own recording.
Okay.
It's a remake of my dad's song.
Yes, elaborate on that some more about your dad. So he had a catalog of music, is what you're saying.
Yes. So starting off, he was an artist.
Yes. Right.
Painter, drawer,
Okay.
all that.
Yes. Okay.
Back in 1978, he was in a bad car wreck that he got some insurance money from it, and he used it to buy this Tascam.
Yeah, Tascam.
244 back around 1982. And so that was just another canvas.
Sure.
And the guitars were another utensil.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
And so he just started recording. And I can't really describe it because I wasn't there at the time.
Yeah. Right.
But anything and everything would set him to just write.
Right. What now? Was it bits and pieces of stuff, or was it like complete songs?
Complete songs.
Complete songs, really?
Start to finish.
Really?
That's
cool.
He put together the album. So
Oh wow. Okay.
He would do his own artwork on it. And each tape has around 15 to 20 songs.
Really? Wow. Okay, so what are you? You're doing something with those, right?
I am.
What are
I'm
you doing?
releasing them for the first time from sitting in a cassette tape container.
Okay.
Out onto Spotify
as they are.
As they are.
No. And go back and
no
overdub
edits,
and
no overdubs.
Just raw, just as they were, really.
As he put them
now,
out.
Is there singing on this?
There is singing.
There is singing.
The singing is my dad.
Okay, so it's the full.
It's the song.
Oh, okay.
It's the song. If you go to Spotify.
Okay, Spotify.
Zach Damon, ZAKDAMON, and the first song is Together Forever.
Okay.
The next release is coming out this Friday.
This Friday.
I don't know if this will be out this Friday.
Well,
or after, but September 15th is the release date.
But even after that point, it'll
be out. It'll be out on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube.
Okay.
And I have about 225 registered songs with my PRO, BMI, that are on my tapes.
Right.
And
That's
so I'm starting just with one.
Right.
Which I released the song that got the most reactions from that Facebook reel.
Yes.
And so I'm just starting there.
Okay, so you have stuff on YouTube as well?
I do have stuff under Zach Damon.
Okay, so that's the YouTube, and then
everything's Zach Damon.
Okay, but I mean, what different formats?
Facebook, YouTube, and then you can find me on Apple, Spotify, Bandcamp, things like that.
Now, is there anything else on there, or is it just strictly your dad's music, or is there anything that you've done that you've added along with that?
Well, for this first song, I did a remake of it. I just did my own cover of his own song.
Okay.
Because I have the rights.
Yeah, exactly.
So I did my own version of it, and I didn't do anything different. I just just did it on GarageBand.
Yeah.
With the same instruments
Exactly.
almost.
Yeah.
But
So wouldn't that be so cool? Like if somebody picked up one of those songs for like something. I mean, anything that they say, hey man,
you never know.
Can we like license this or give us permission? I mean, you never know, right?
It's
I mean,
funny.
wouldn't that be cool?
I just started, and right now with my Facebook, it's sitting at almost 20,000 followers.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And
You hear that?
20,000 followers.
You hear that?
And it doesn't. It can be on a cassette
Yeah,
tape. It's just. It just. I don't know. It's something resonated with everybody.
Yeah.
They thought it's just the authenticity of it.
Yes. Well, right. Yeah.
And it's just. It's really neat. And so, I could never find myself to let it sit in an attic and rot. So I had to start releasing it sometime.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Real quick.
Yeah.
Your top 5 drummers.
Oh shoot. I'm gonna have to say Ringo and Bonham. They changed my life in the music for sure. And then Dave Weckl, Steve Gadd.
Great choices, man. Great choices.
Very. I'm still studying on those guys.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Amazing.
And then,
right.
And then I would have to say I'm gonna choose wisely because there's some great stuff.
There is. There's.
But I'm trying to find like what influenced me.
Yes, what really struck you as, man, this guy is
this is gonna be bad. You're gonna have to edit this part out. 2 hours later.
2 hours later, yeah. We're back 2 hours later, and we finally got through the list that he was talking about. So, just one more guy.
I'm gonna have to say my dad.
That's great.
Because
hear that? That's awesome.
He was my biggest
really
influence.
Awesome. Yes, absolutely. It has to be. I mean, he left you pretty much a legacy there.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, you have kids. That's what's cool about having stuff recorded or on social media or somewhere uploaded, where you can always go back and share and stuff like that. I just think that's awesome, especially like I said, if you have kids and stuff, and then down the road, who knows, what will develop with that. But what I was going to ask you, we talked about cymbals and equipment and stuff, and tuning and stuff. Is there any particular method or sticks that you like using when you're playing? Like as far as the weights versus lengths and stuff like that. I mean, what do you like in that aspect? Man, what do you use?
Typically, I use about 5/8, and I like the nylon tips.
The nylon tip.
I always find the wood tips always getting these chips in them before I'm done with the stick.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of wood tips. I don't because, like I said, at first they're okay, and then as you're playing later, you'll start hearing a thud instead of a ting. I mean, it starts deadening to me, and I don't know if it's because it's flattening
it out.
It's like that don't sound right. And then so ever since then, I just strictly have been nylon. And I know a lot of people complain and say, well, sometimes the nylon falls off or flies off.
Not if it's a good stick.
Exactly. Not if it's a good stick. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, you hear the pros and cons of that, but I'll never go back to a wood stick. Nylon is just brings out, especially when you're doing the ride and stuff.
Right.
I can't see how you go wrong with it.
Yeah, I just like that extra durability.
Sure.
The tips go out on me before I even ever break the stick.
Right, so exactly.
Just went the nylon.
Exactly. All right, well, you heard it. You heard all this information. He's got some stuff out on social media and stuff. Go check it out for sure, because I bet you it's some really good stuff. I've listened to some of it. It is. Would you be interested in doing some playing for me? Did you bring some sticks? You got some sticks?
I didn't come prepared. I am not prepared.
Oh man, looky there. Okay, we want my people here. They want to hear what you got, and they want to know. Besides your history and stuff, we definitely want to see you play. Okay, because I know you're a killer drummer, and I'm just happy that you was able to come and share some of your thoughts and your memories with us.
Thank you.
And I want to hear you play, as y'all do too. All right. He likes the gong, the gong.